Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show. My name is Leon Jones. Today's topic: Black man's demise comes from settling for a hole. Black man's demise comes from settling for a hole. Now, everybody knows what a hole is, so I'm not going to go into defining it. But if you use your imagination, you will come up with the answer. Now, when it comes to black men, a number of us tend to blame black women for what's going on in our community. Not that they don't play a part in it, but I want to address the black men on this issue. Because when it comes to cheating slash infidelity, I believe that black men have a high case of it. And the reason is for this. Prior to Virginia and Loving, which was an interracial marriage between a white man and a black woman back in 1967, black men couldn't date interracially. So black men tended to date within their own race. It was safe for them to do that, and they had a warm body. And when they married in the past, it was based on need. That's when black people married each other generally. Not that they didn't love one another, but marriage was a stabilizer. But since the feminist movement, Virginia versus Loving, black people have been divided. I know a YouTuber, and I listen to him sometimes. Obsidian said this on his channel, and shout out to Obsidian from Philadelphia. He does good content. He had put out that black men and black women don't get along. I agree with that because we have different narratives. We have different directions on where we want to go. And we believe that there's no need to date each other based on want, need, and desire. We just now interact with each other because we want to interact with each other. In other words, we're not construed to dating within our own race. But this video is not about interracial dating. It's about black men settling for a hole. Well, going back to what I just said, days of feminism, Virginia versus Loving, which was an interracial marriage between a black woman and white man from Virginia that basically allowed for interracial marriages to happen. Well, what did black men do? And what do black men do now? Because there are a number of black men who date undesirable women, not just fat women, but meth heads, baby mamas. Well, what black men do is think with their penis. They're very irresponsible with sex. And if you look in the black community, we blame black women for the high out of wedlock pregnancy rate. But who's getting these black women pregnant? Black men are getting black women pregnant. And a number of these black women are getting pregnant by the same man. You look at men like Desmond Hatchett. I believe he had 12 babies, mothers, and 30 kids. That's reckless with your penis. He should never have a penis. But the bottom line, black men will settle for anything just to have a warm body and someone to have sex with. And black men are even going to the point of having sex with other men and transsexuals. Now, if you look at the disease of transmission or sexually transmitted diseases in the black community, a number of them come from black men who were in jail because they were having unprotected sex in jail with other guys. And what they do, they bring that back home and have sex irresponsibly with black women, and they spread the disease into the black community, causing black women now to have sexually transmitted diseases. And black men have been very promiscuous. As I'm stating before, some of you black men might not want to hear this, but a number of us need to look in the mirror and check ourselves out when it comes to our own sexual behavior. And also, we must look at ourselves when it comes to being committed in relationships. Now, some of the data I've read, black men do have the highest infidelity rate. Black men must understand that we don't need a warm body by us all the time. We don't need to have sex all the time. What we need to do is get to understand who we are and recognize our own insecurities. Because black men are very insecure people. They don't understand that in order to function in society, they must address their own mental issues. A number of us black men lash out at each other because we're angry, but who are we angry at? If we're angry at the system, we should be challenging the system. But we're not challenging the system, we're challenging each other. This is why we can't have discussions with each other. But the one common denominator I see with a number of black men is many of us aren't loyal. Many of us don't want to be loyal. And as men, we've always heard from women never settle. But what do men do? Men settle. This is why when it comes to interracial dating, you see a number of black men with undesirable women. And what black men have done with undesirable women, they've allowed undesirable women to be desirable just because black men want them. This is where we get the adage, black men will pick up other races' scraps. Well, if black men didn't settle, here's what would happen. We'd actually have a community because it would be quality, because black men would not be having irresponsible sex with women to whom they know are losers. Black men would also get an education and strive to be leaders and builders of a community. Now, this is all wishful thinking because it's never going to happen. Again, with the black community, we've been divided since the 1960s. But the problem is, when it comes to being a victim, we go back to the 1960s and we utilize the word racism. Again, as I said in previous videos, many of the problems black people have, we can solve ourselves. We just don't want to. We are looking for somebody else to solve the problems for us. We're looking for leaders. And if you look at black men and why we can't do business with each other, the reason why is because we like to scam each other. You have the business owner who wants to overcharge, and you have the customer who's always looking for something free. You look at black men who have gotten in trouble. Both Jesse Jacksons have gotten in trouble. Al Sharpton has gotten in trouble. William Jefferson, former Democratic congressman of Louisiana, he's gotten himself in trouble. The former mayor of Detroit has gotten himself in trouble. The former Democratic mayor, believe his name is Ray Nagin. He was the Democratic mayor for the city of New Orleans back in '05 when Hurricane Katrina took place, and the list goes on and on and on and on. I believe there was a congressman from the state that I'm from, Maryland, Albert Wynn. He got caught cheating on his wife. But these black men have power. And these are black men who are in positions of leadership. So when they have problems, what do you think the rest of us are going to have? The rest of us are going to have even greater problems. When our top leaders are showing dysfunction, that sets a bad example for all of us who are working African Americans. Now, I'm not saying all black men are dysfunctional, but most black men are dysfunctional when it comes to relationships because we settle for nothing but a hole. That means we will have sex with anybody to enjoy an orgasm. And again, when you have that type of thinking, it leads to STDs, high infidelity, and high out of wedlock pregnancies. So when I do my videos, I basically aim at the brothers because I am a black man, and when I see black men utilizing dysfunctional behavior, it comes back at all black men. This is why we can't be trusted in the workforce. This is why we can't be trusted around other people's women. Because we don't have any respect for ourselves. And I don't care what any brother says. Many black men, when it comes to sex, will have sex with just about anything. Because we think too much with our penises. And that also comes from the lack of morals we have for ourselves and for each other. Now, I don't run around saying that there is a code for men, but one thing that I do believe in is that men should respect each other for who they are. Be honest with each other. But black men got to be honest with themselves. A number of us have dysfunctional behavior. A number of us are insecure, egotistical, immature, emotional, but we don't want to take care of it because it's easy to blame somebody. But in the long run, if this keeps happening, black men are basically going to be non-existent. And this is why other races of women, yes, they'll date us, but they do see us as well based on how we treat our women as dysfunctional. This is why you get some of the white women and Hispanic women. They come in when it deals with black men, and I'm talking about dating, and they have the same ghetto attitude as the ghetto black women. Because a number of black men aren't respectful of themselves and of the women that they're dating. But you should be respectful of yourself so you don't have to settle for bottom feeders. The problem with black men is, again, their main focus is to look for a hole. This is why they settle for bottom of the barrel women. This is why you hear from a number of other races and black women that black men date fat white women, fat Hispanic women. And when I say fat, I'm talking about women who are out of shape. I'm not talking about the pear-shaped women. I'm talking about fat and out of shape, where they have no ass, no chest, they have a lot of gut, and some of them look like meth heads. Well, Now, I know black men aren't marrying these women, but black men are having sex with these women because they're not looking at the woman for the quality that she is or that she's not. They're looking at that woman because now black men believe that, okay, I don't need to date black women anymore. I can have a variety. Well, a variety to a black man means they'll get any non-black woman and they'll date that non-black woman just for sexual reasons so they can say they had him a white woman, a Hispanic woman, regardless of what she looks like. Now, there are some who slip up and become very irresponsible, and what do? They have a baby with non-black women, and guess what? The non-black women have the same dysfunctional attitude as black women. Now, I'm not saying all black women. Now, black men cause some of these attitudes. So when black men are out there trying to criticize black women for what they're doing, I'm not saying what black women are doing is correct. But before I look at anybody else, I look at myself. What we need to do as black men is to admit that we are also destroying the community. We've watched our fathers do it, our grandfathers do it, and it's going to keep going on until we recognize what we're doing. Now, I don't like to report information like this because it saddens me because I'm a black man. But until we come to the truth as black men, we're going to be looked down upon from other people. This is why other people don't want to deal with us, because they can't trust us. Heck, we as black men can't trust each other. Let me give you an example. Most of us who are doing pretty good as black men will not go up in black areas with our other black people. Why? Because we have a fear of being robbed and shot. Well, if we go into the suburbs where white people live, we're more comfortable. Why? Because the crime rate is going to be less. Also, you don't have as many urbanized people who are living on welfare. Not that drugs don't come into the suburbs, but it's also less likely because we're around more affluent people. And when you're around affluent people, your attitude must change. But when you're around urbanized people, and this is not a stereotype because I lived in an urbanized area, living in Baltimore, living in New York. I go to Chicago quite a bit, and I know what goes on there. But at the end of the day, it's the dysfunction of black men that's keeping the community down as well. And if you don't believe me, you look at our black churches. They're led by preachers. A number of these preachers have problems themselves. A number of these preachers have infidelity. You can watch videos on preachers who have gone after men's wives. I'm not making this up because I've seen some of those videos. There was a preacher in Detroit that went after a man's wife. There are a number of other videos that I've seen. But the bottom line when it comes to black men, we base everything off of our penis. And if we get rid of that thinking and actually get some education, read a book, and understand that everything isn't the white man's fault, that a lot of what's going on is our fault, we can grow and be successful. But until then, nothing is going to happen. This is why I don't argue with any black men on YouTube. I do self-awareness videos because as a black man, I do not make excuses for bad behavior. I don't care who it is. But being a black man, I look at us a little more thoroughly because we're all put under the same roof. Now, you have educated black men like Umar Johnson, and my question when it comes to him is he was supposed to build a school. Well, he was donated a lot of money. What happened to the school? We don't know. So, if the school isn't going to be built, what is he doing with the money? Those are questions that are asked by black men of me to black men like him. And when I don't get an answer, the light bulb goes off and I start believing that we can't do business with each other because we'll scam each other. Black people in general, when it comes to business, they love falling for these pyramid schemes like Amway and these travel agencies, thinking that it is their business when in reality, they're really a distributor of somebody else's product. They're just trying to recruit other people into their downline to do the selling for them so they can make money. That's not a good way to make money. When it comes to business, you have to understand the market. You have to understand the type of structure you want. Do you want to be a sole proprietor? Do you want to be an LLC? Do you want to be corporate? Like an S corporation or a C corporation. We don't understand that. Some of us believe that they have a business, but they're using YouTube as a platform. But when you ask them what their NAICS number is, they can't tell you. When you ask them that they have a DUNS number, they can't tell you. So basically what we do, thinking that we have a business, we use somebody else's platform. We're almost thinking in the terms of being a franchise, but it's not a franchise because on YouTube, we pay no fee to be on YouTube. It is free. Now you have individuals who set up Snapchat and Patreon accounts. But again, this is not about business. This is about the dysfunction of black men settling for a hole because they're constantly thinking with their penises. And when you think with your penis, you become reckless with your penis. Why? Because you want to stick your penis in everything to satisfy yourself with an orgasm, regardless of what the person is. The person is a man or a woman. And this is why you have a number of homosexuals in places like Atlanta and San Francisco. But Atlanta is supposed to be the black Mecca. And you have a number of homosexuals in Atlanta and they're black men. You have a number of black preachers. But the bottom line, black men got to learn to stop settling for everything and settle for something that is quality, because when you build something in general, you don't want it to fail. But the way we are handling business as black men, we're going to always fail. Why? Because we don't know how to deal with each other when it comes to having a conversation. Again, we don't disagree together as professionals. We're emotional. We're violent. We love to call one another names. We love to disrespect each other. We're very insecure. A number of us are bipolar. A number of us as black men need counseling. We need to check into a mental institution. Got too many mental black people walking out in town, camouflaging themselves as normal. No, a number of us are not normal. But we fail to realize that because we believe that getting help is white people's problem. We keep thinking that, we're going to end up with more and more ghettos. And when you have ghettos, you have high crime, low education, high out-of-wedlock pregnancy rate, high drug rate, and the list is going to go on and on and on and on. And when you have ghettos, You also have something that is very bad. Our health gets bad. This is why a number of us are overweight. We don't eat properly. Why? Because we're dysfunctional people. Black men are always willing to settle for a hole instead of settling to be single, to think about where they want to go in life. You don't need a hole that you got to settle for. What you need is to make sure your life is intact. Learn how to be responsible. Learn what it takes to be a man. Now, I'm not perfect, but I don't have nearly the problems that I see some black men on YouTube and other black women I've seen around me in different environments. The bottom line is, I know how to take care of my problems. And I admit when I have problems, and I go to the source and get help. And you can get free help at clinics. It's just, again, black men don't want to get help. But one thing that we don't care about is whose lives we destroy. And we destroy other people's lives with our infidelity, transferring STDs when we know we have STDs. There's rap music out now that talks about the gay lifestyle. Sister Felicia sent me that video and I watched it and I was mortified by it. But this is the direction that black men are going. And not all of it comes from feminism. A number of it comes from our own dysfunction. Again, a number of it comes from our own dysfunction. When we fail to see that we have a problem and we live in delusion, the problem's never going to be solved. So as a black man, what we must stop doing is being reckless by settling for a hole. Because when we settle for a hole, we settle for any hole, good or bad, because we want a warm body. As I would tell women, settling is dangerous, because when you settle for the wrong purpose, and you settle for the wrong purpose, and at the end of the day, you get what you get. The high out-of-wedlock pregnancy rate, STDs, poverty, lack of respect, and you get talked about by other races who are looking at you as not men, but as troglodytes, Neanderthals. And why? Because we present that behavior that other races can see that we are exuberating. So bottom line, black men, understand that you got mental issues and take care of your mental issues. See, being a real man means you can step up to the plate and say you need help. You drop that pride. But if you don't do that, you're going to continue living a lie, and you're going to remain dysfunctional by settling for a hole. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for this morning, Sunday, March 11th, 2018. You can tune in to the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Although we've been doing the show from 3 to 6, we did a show yesterday. It is on. It's called Bitter Betty. We have another one coming up on Why Men Cheat. I'm going to see if we can get it on today at 3 o'clock. If you want to participate, the guest calling number is 215-383-5785. If you want to get on the air, just press number 1 to get into the queue. Likewise, If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to bring you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Again, on my channel, I do an awareness channel. So I don't subscribe to controversy, debates, or emotional issues. Now, if it's emotional, that's because I am striking a chord with what I'm saying because it is true and you're reacting with emotion. And that leads into the next part. That's why I don't engage in drama and unnecessary bickering because it is counterproductive. I'm going to repeat myself. My channel is a self-awareness channel. I'm here to give you education based off of my own experiences and my research. And what I'm doing is giving you insight, just like I did today with being dysfunctional. Because if you don't have any knowledge, you don't have power. And what's going to happen? You're going to continue to be ignorant and delusional about what's going on, and your lives will never change. And if you have a topic, a new YouTube channel, or business that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please put your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other and have a wonderful and blessed day.